Hi, and welcome to another video from aplaintruth.info. Hey, I thought I'd do another word game with you. Words have meanings. Words are swords. I got a lot of good positive comments. I got some great contributions from people. And I just wanted to further it a little along. One of the comment sections turned me on to a website, YouTube, called Chiron Last, and had a lot of great information, which I'll be posting in the show liner notes as well. A lot of this comes from him, as well as Russell Pine, who's also known as Jordan Maxwell or Jordan Maximus, from the Unveiling Isis of Madame Blavatsky. So let's get started. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. We went through the sevens numbers in the first video I put out like this. We make our entrance as we enter in our trance until we exit or exit from our existence. X is 10 in Roman numerals. If we say 10, we are Satan, saying 10. And I'll get into X a little more later and why that's important. Everything is frequency, vibration, and energy. Nikola Tesla. We're a battery. Earth is a battery. That's why our dome is home. You had me at Om. Om is the vibrational frequency that is all of existence in Buddhist Vedic teachings. Om is also an electric unit. We have freedom, wisdom, kingdom, shalom. To omit is to leave out. AD, for the birth of Christ event, is Anno Domino. Domino means feast, the year of the feast. Who is feasting? And this was sent in the comment section. I just wanted to put it in here in the Beli Eve. Everything became evil, ever, since Eve ate from the apple that evening. I don't know what toge means, but I'll say apple. We were more naive than she was believing evolution that would eventually make us deviate from the Most High even more. Very good, whoever submitted that. And we gotta we're always returning, we're remembering, we're revolving, we're reforming, which means we're coming back again and again because we don't learn our lessons. And the word a means without. So to come back again means to come out and there is no gain. This is also part of the Buddhist teachings of samsara, the Four Noble Truths of suffering. And suffering is what we all do. Okay, 4. The number 4 is a cube or a square. And forever we stay in the box. We are boxed in our ring or cycle, so we recycle again and again and no gain until they destroy us or destroy again. All roads lead to Rome, and our romance and our Roman Latin laws and our Roman numerals and X marking the spot and X games and triple X pornography. All right, getting further down. Now, they like to play word games with us, like, do you know the President of the United States and who the opponent was? It was Barack Osama, Joe, Bin, Biden, Obama, Laden, Hussein. See how they mix up the name sounding? And now we got trumped by the Donald, who is playing the last hand of the elite. In bridge, the last hand is the trump card, okay? But before that, we got snowed in by Eric Snowden with a massive information that covered all and then melted away once the snow melted. And then Bernie made off with the money, and Congressman Andy Weiner got in trouble for his hot-dogging sexual escapades with his wiener. And then we have the new Federal Reserve, reserve like in 10ness, Janet Yellen, because she's yelling about the $21 trillion in debt. But before that, we had Alan Greenspan. Remember the greenback dollar to prop up the dollar in the Fed's reserve? And the Federal Reserve is no more federal than Federal Express in the game of 10 or X. 10s in Roman Latin law. This is why Washington, D.C. was called Rome, Maryland before it was Washington, D.C., trying to connect the D.C. or direct current to charge our battery, but we all find in our account is AC to count from. We're the alternate current. On a sidebar here, the White House is named after Andrew White, the Apostle of Maryland, a Jesuit. Washington, D.C. was donated by John Carroll, a Jesuit, 6 months after he founded Georgetown University, where Bill Clinton went to. Donald Trump went to Fordham. He's a Jesuit. Pence is a Jesuit. In California here, Governor Jerry Brown, Jesuit school. Gavin Newsom, who will be the next governor. San Francisco mayor, Jesuit school, the head of the UC system here, former Department of Homeland Security, Janet Napolitano, Jesuit school as well, folks. They're the ones that run the show, the Jesuits and the Vatican. The Potomac was called the Tiber River before it became Washington, D.C. I'd like to ask you a question, anybody. What date was Washington, D.C. founded? This is where the President, the Congress, and the supreme law of the land resides. And no one can tell what the date was founded. I'll leave it up to you to look it up or watch one of my videos about it. What does D.C. mean when we charge the candidate with our electrical elections while we vote at the terminal or polls? Then we have romantic feelings while playing the field while we roam. Again, the Roman theme. Sidebar here, the head of National Academy of Science and Junk Science in the world of fake news is named Marcia McNutt. Can't make this stuff up. While our mind is being mined, but we don't seem to mind at all, because most of us are asleep, as in asleep unless we go to a wake, and then we are awake. Is this why being wide awake we are mourning in the morning? Unless we are being selfish or a cell like a battery fish being schooled in school with spells. And if we go to the law system, it's just us, or justice, or just on ice. Now, juice means soup, and like juice on ice, it's frozen from the broth or brotherhood, the Freemasons. Until you get a trouble again, then you're in hot water. Life is just a rehearsal for our death. Dead is debt. Mortgage, mort means dead as in mortuary, so this is the age of the dead as in debt. We can get interned by our interest. We wake up, awake as a funeral. Wake up to dying. In our legal ship, we leave a wake or a wave. A wave is a naval seaman. Seaman or sperm. We wave when we say, hell, oh, and nobody thinks twice about it. All right, in court we have case law. There's an uppercase and a lowercase in letters. The upper courts are lower courts, are also lower courts. A lawsuit may not suit you, but also might suit you to a T until you put the case away in a suitcase. If judged guilty, you are put in a pen and read your rights. What's left? You have the right to remain silent because silence is golden. Yet in contractual law, silence is consent, where they sent the cons to, consent. You get arrested, then you get a rest between sentencing. See how it's all about words and language? Then you go to the Department of Corrections for correcting your mistakes. An arrestor is an electrical unit device that prevents or stops a specified thing like a lightning charge. You get arrested by the police to face charges, and then you're put in a cell. A cell is a battery, as you may be charged with assault or assault and battery. Salt is needed to make the battery work where you need to stand your ground against the charges. You may beat the charges of assault and battery so we can go to the ball game where the pitcher and catcher are called the battery. Batter up. Until you're hearing against the charges, because law is oral and silence is consent, where the cons are sent by definition or definition by the defendant or defendant. Attorneys are members of the Bar Templar of England. Bar, B-A-R, means British Accredited Registry. The corporation is registered in Puerto Rico, a city-state, and held in corporate papers by the City of London. Their duty is the first of the courts and the public and cannot practice unless a bar member. A client, or client, is deemed a ward of the court in relation to their attorneys. The ward of the court is defined as infants and persons of unsound, again the hearing, mind, placed by the court under the care of a guardian in the garden of law. Now, why are doctors and lawyers always practicing anyway? And when information is changed, they are doctored. A constable is an officer of the stable of horses. The warden lives in the den of war. War is money, money is war. Money is the root of evil, so we veil it while we live in vile times. The yellow fringe around the flag in court means that we are lost souls at sea and do not stand ground. This is why FedEx is shipped even by land. Parents are a pair that rents us to breed new babies until they go to paradise or a pair of dice, or roll the dice. The female is the cost to be bred. That is why it's called a marriage and may not be stable because the groom who grooms the horse did not pony up enough mooney or money to bridle her or reign over. The moon is Luna, and if you're a mooned, you are shown someone's ass and declared a lunatic, and why someone is hormonal or a hormonal. The male delivers, like a horse livery, into the female and given birth until the water comes down the birth canal, where you find a landmark on a piece of paper registered in your mother's name and securitized in the United States against the debt of 1933 to the banksters. We are all registered property of the banksters. This is why the court is a racket and the case is tossed back and forth in 10x10is. Okay. Now, as far as the birth certificate goes, when they used to put your foot on the document and the landmark, it is because they are keeping you out at sea and you're under contractual law obligation. All law is contract. Common law is contract law. You may want relief, but what is a real lie once you realize with your real eyes the real lies? Statutes are statues that stand over us, while the controllers who troll their cons on all are the architects or archon text by which laws are made. Sails are sails on ships. That's why we sail into court on our citizenship, relationship, partnership, ownership, etc. And the bailiff helps us get out of hot water in the docket. You may have gotten taken advantage by loan sharks through your cash flows in currency or currency, where interest may turn us if we don't pay and pay and pay. It's a 6-6 cycle or cyclical, where a scythe may be used to separate us from our daily bread. Business is business. That is why we are considered the B team members and have our babies, as in horse, to get the honey, or liquid amber gold, the nectar of the gods. Oh God, how gaudy. Now the capital, or cap it all, is why our names are in all caps. This is on your birth certificate. This is on your Social Security. This is on your driver's license. This is on your bank statements, all in capital letters, because you have become a part of the corp or corporation. This means you're a fictitious character and a straw man, which we got into in the last video. All acts are axes of Congress. If you look on the House of Congress on each side, you'll see the licor, or the axeman's hench, on each side of the deity where the president gives his State of the Union speech. Now, it's called a stock market because we are all cattle or chattel, using our pens to sign away our lives to fictitious characters. Heart is anagram for earth, and home is where the hearth is. Inside is art. We may take stock in this, but the beat will go on until the music dies. Now, there's acts for the actor. A character is a care actor. All the words are stage, and we're merely actors. We live in a crypt with our script. Chorus is the core of us. Acquire is when we acquire, like a good squire, until we squirrel away our nuts. Soldiers are sold to die. That is why they have dog tags. But heroes, or the male legs, who fight for the right to conduct war for money, because money, or one eye, is war, and war is in racket until we get back in court again. The occult means hidden, while the ocular is the eye, hence the one hidden eye on the back of the $1 U.S. bill. Jesus was a crucifixion, was a cross of fiction. You go to the church and you sit in pews. Why pews? Pew comes from the French word pied. Why pews? Because it stinks to high heaven and cause heaving rather than get to rise to heaven by your daily bread. And you are bred to stink to high heaven through the leaven or bread. All rise and give your dough in the till, or until we say mercy. You are a sheep. Something disgusting, we go, ew. Administars are admini-stars. Easter is the Eastern Star, and ministars are mini-stars. And we are always put to work. We have homework, schoolwork, we work out, we go to work, we're busy work. We get weak from working all week, so we get a weekend and need the weekend. And then we believe the hype, and then we are hypocritical. A hypo is a needle is hypo. Vaccines are from the word vaca, or cow, as brought in by cowpox by the Jesuits. The Jesuits are also in the movies Men in Black and V for Vendetta. Those are Jesuit movies that you need to check out. Now that we've weaved and thrown everything into a mess, I hope you get the mess of this age, or the message. All right, now numbers have meanings also. The cycles of life, 666 is used to master all. 1 is to exist. 2 is to be aware. 3 is to create. 4 is to study. 5 is to struggle. 6 is to master. 7 is to rest. 8 is to reward. And 9 is to end. X marks the spot for our existence, tennis, and is X-rated. Exactly. Satan or Satan. Santa or NASA with a T in the serpent tongue. It's all the same. All right, so we take the numbers and we get 911. 9, 1 plus 1. 9 means the end and 2 means the aware. Are you aware of the end that 911 represented? And if you take the Roman numerals, I have these backwards, it should be IX and XI, which is 911, are Roman numerals. All roads lead to Rome, while we roam around and around in a circuit, charging our credit and going into mortal debt with our mortgages while they're playing death games with us. So the Twin Towers were brought down because they were the Freemason symbols of Joachim and Boaz. Should be an Z there. And enter the middle path between the two towers of the gates of Solomon's temple. Solomon means sun and moon, silver and gold. When these little icons or idols of society disintegrated before everyone's eyes, the psychological fabric of America and much of the world was rent in two, not only at a conscious level, but at a subconscious level, which is even more powerful, shredding a timeless symbol laden with esoteric meanings and associations held deep in the soul. The lie is exposed, the spell is broken, and the illusion loses its power over you once you realize with your real eyes the real lies. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll catch you on the next one. It's Plain Truth out. Peace.